Welcome to week 39. We are going to finish up part 5 of our process series. We're going to talk about process management, and we're going to talk about implementing and everything that you do after the fact. 2 different videos for you today. The first video is going to be about that process management. So let's jump into the management. We've already covered a lot of this, and you've probably already done a lot of this already. It's the basics of documenting processes and planning for improvements. We are going to talk about documenting now. And how you document can vary, but it should be easily accessible and easily understood by whoever is reading it. So you want to create your documents for yourself because that's what you're going to use to help improve your business and all of that. But you want to be able to share it with your team, and you want them to be able to read it and understand it easily. So putting it on the back of a napkin, that's great. Documenting processes, that's fine. But having it somewhere that everybody can access and understand it and read it is even better. Organization of your processes is very important. We're going to talk about value chains now. Value chains are those larger multi-department things that occur. It's kind of like the giant process that is broken down into smaller processes, everything that happens within that value chain. My example that I love to talk about is procure to pay, because I was in procurement forever. Procure to pay value chain is everything that you do from sourcing a vendor, looking at products, scheduling, putting vendors in computer systems, all of that, ordering, receiving, putting away, like everything that comes from ordering a product, like understanding, vetting vendors, and the whole way to paying for that product. That's procure to pay. That's a value chain. So everything that happens underneath that are going to be processes within that value chain. It can span multiple departments. It can include multiple people. It could be just one particular person doing the entire thing, especially if you're a small business. So just think about the value chains there. Once you understand your value chains, you're going to want to break them down into more bite-sized pieces. So you're not going to get into too many details here because you don't want to get into procedures, but you want to have it broken down into repeatable steps, the processes, these tasks that happen within those value chains. If you need to get into the procedures, into the nitty-gritty, that's fine, but you can do that later. So start at the top level, get your value chains, find all the processes that happen underneath that, and then if you need to, dive into procedures from there. Your time is important. So just remember that you're not going to be documenting just to document. Prioritize based upon value. What's critical? You can use your whole team in this, get people involved, share the fun, in documenting your processes, and make sure you get people up and downstream to review what's going on so that those handoffs make sense. The storage, again, this should be open to your team. So put it out there somewhere where anybody can look at it. Getting feedback is a great part of this. So people can go in as they find out things that they like, they don't like, things they're good at, parts of the process that can be improved. They can just jump in there and make those changes and give you that feedback. So doing it digitally is probably the best idea, but again, that's up to you. It's your preference. You can put, I've gone so far as to put maps up on the wall and people just go by and just make comments with Sharpies of what they like, what they don't like. As you're documenting and working on improvements, you're going to have gaps. And so these are going to be discovered during the documentation and review phase. These are the things that you should be doing, but you might not be doing. These are the things that you think you're doing, but aren't actually happening. These are the things that are happening that you weren't aware of. Just anything that is a part of the process that you weren't aware of, or you think that something else is happening in there. You want to prioritize improvement for those gaps. So there's a chance that somebody found a better way to do something in your business. That's great. There's a chance that they're just doing things or holding things together the best that they can, and that they need your help. They need a new piece of technology, a new process, whatever it is. Just think about that as you're identifying your gaps, and then look at your future state. So this is where you want to be when you implement a new process. So you want to think about the timeline, how long it's going to take to implement whatever that process is, who's included in that implementation. You obviously want to outline what's going to change. So this is going to be new pieces of the process, new ways of doing things, new technology, et cetera. These are going to be things that are eliminated as well. Like, I used to do this on this computer system, and now I'm doing it on this computer system, or I'm not doing it at all. Just make sure that you call out those so there's no surprises when you're implementing this. Be clear about your objectives and the milestones when you're implementing this. This is just like the planning series, weeks 10, 20, 30, and 40. Just create solid objectives that you can hit and a timeline that makes sense to hit them. This will give goals. This will give purpose to your team in terms of implementing these processes, and be clear about what the future state is. Define it, lay it out. There should be no question about what the goal is, what the final outcome is for implementing these processes. And then don't forget to create a training plan, a communications plan. We've talked about the communications plan already, the training plan. This could be internal, this could be external. And if you're implementing new technology, if you're using any outside resource as a part of your implementation, see what you can use that they already have. They should have training documents. They should have people who will come on site and train your team, whether it's physically on site or via a Zoom session or whatever it is. And finally, don't forget to track your metrics. Benchmark where you are, track your metrics. It's the only way you're going to know if you're improving. Go back to week 26 if you need more information on that. And with that, that is the first video here in week 39. And up next, we're going to talk about implementing your processes.